Okay, good evening, my dear students, and welcome to today's lesson. Thank you so much for being on time. I hope you're doing great. In the same fashion, I hope that you had an amazing little candle night and a great holiday yesterday. Let's retake. Okay, so before we get started with the class, we're going to continue. In today's lesson, we're going to continue with those people who didn't have the chance to give their presentation on Tuesday. But before we listen to those people, this is something important I want us to take into consideration. So earlier on today, at 3:40 in the afternoon, I sent you an email, okay? And the email was about some changes in the evaluation system. So in case you have not checked your email, please check your email because the percentages of the evaluation system has been changed. There is an attachment there. And well, I would like you to download it or to open it from the internet, but I suggest that you download it and you'll find some information about the new percentages. Now, the activities for this first cycle are going to be as follows, okay? So we have only one exam, which is scheduled for this coming Tuesday, December the 13th, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Each of the skills for that exam equals or represents or amounts to 7.5%. So in total, the first exam for this cycle and the only exam that you have for this cycle amounts to 30%. 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5 equals 30%. Each skill, however, is divided into 7.5, which is pretty much the same thing, but you will be able to see each mark separately in the system, okay? Now, speaking of the first project advance, which is to be sent on this coming Monday at 11:59 p.m., the deadline, it's 20%. Quizzes mark. Remember, quizzes is a compilation of many activities, which include classwork, class participation, use of English, homeworks, if you have been assigned any homeworks, presentations like the ones we have been working on since Tuesday, and many other activities that are part of the classes, okay? In my case, I like to focus mainly on classwork, okay? So everything we have been working on, class participation, the presentations, the questions that I asked you during the classes, all of that is going to be part of the quizzes mark. And speaking of virtual, which is Moodle, it's 10%. So in total, we have 100%, okay? So the percentages have been modified, mainly considering the timing of this cycle. Daniela, do you have a question?
Yes, teacher, about Moodle, we have to respond the first 4 units.
Okay, I was about to explain that part. That's a very good question. Maybe you're a little bit ahead, but I was gonna tell you about it. Speaking of Moodle, now I send you in the first classes, I send you a slideshow, a welcoming slideshow with the important information about this first cycle. In one of the last, if not the last slides, you will find the links to access both Moodle and the academic system. The academic system is not ready yet, but don't worry, because we're keeping track of everything separately, okay? But here you have Moodle. So if you click on it, you will have access to Moodle. Now, what's the idea? Again, you type your user and your password. In your case is different. You have to use letter E in lowercase plus your ID, okay? Your identification number, not the student code, but your identification number. So in this case, this is our group, right? This is what you're going to see in this moment, modules 1 from number 1 to number 12. But the only modules that are going to be considered, the ones that you are supposed to be working on are modules 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? For this first cycle. However, the only one that is going to be considered for the marks, that is to say for the virtual mark, which I was showing you just before, this one here, is module 1, okay? Because we don't want to push you, because these classes are super intensivas. It's the end of the year. I'm quite sure that you have lots of responsibilities, and maybe time is not enough for you to work on all of the activities. So I'm going to better explain this in Spanish for a second, okay? Bien, entonces, como primera medida, revisar el correo electrónico. Sobre las 3:40 de la tarde les envié un correo electrónico con este documento adjunto que es sobre los cambios en los porcentajes y las actividades para este primer ciclo. Tenemos un porcentaje mucho más grande en cuanto a trabajo en clase, pues atendiendo también a la dinámica del curso que es súper intensiva y que hacemos mucho trabajo en clase de lunes a viernes 4 horas, ¿listo? Entonces, digamos que la parte formativa del proceso, desde las distintas formas de evaluación, es la que más tiene porcentaje. El examen que van a presentar el día martes tiene un porcentaje de 30, ¿sí? Y el otro 30% restante está distribuido en virtual y primer avance de proyecto. Entonces, primer avance de proyecto tiene como fecha límite de envío el próximo lunes a las 11:59 de la noche. Y en cuanto a la nota de Moodle, va a estar disponible los ejercicios en plataforma hasta medianoche de la última clase de este ciclo, que es el próximo martes. ¿Listo? A ustedes
Profe,
en este momento, si quieres, déjame termino y ya te atiendo. Ustedes en este momento les aparecen todas las unidades
sí, profe,
de
todo.
este primer ciclo. ¿Listo? Sin embargo, las que deben realizar para el primer ciclo son unidades 1, 2, 3 y 4. No obstante, la única que se va a tener en cuenta, sin querer decir que las otras no se deban hacer, la única que se va a tener en cuenta en este momento, o sea, la nota que se va a registrar en plataforma en ese 10% es el módulo 1 completado. Sin embargo, van a quedar disponibles módulos 2, 3 y 4 para que ustedes puedan adelantar para los próximos niveles, ¿cierto? Estas unidades también. Como apenas tenemos 10 clases, ¿cierto? Distribuidas en 10 días, valga la redundancia, de 4 horas, 40 horas en total, pues, y como las clases son súper intensivas, digamos que la dinámica es bastante, como su propio nombre lo dice, y he sido muy enfático al respecto desde clase número 1, el trabajo es súper intensivo. Listo, entonces de pronto como para favorecer un poco en las cosas, para facilitar un poco las cosas desde su responsabilidad, que han sido muy responsables hasta el momento. Por ahí vi que ya en algunos casos se han desarrollado hasta el módulo 3, o sea, ya casi van empezando el módulo 4, ¿sí? Entonces eso habla mucho de su responsabilidad y compromiso con las clases de inglés, con este programa de bilingüismo. Pues entonces para que no sea como tan overwhelming, ¿sí? Tan abrumante todo, se va a tomar como punto de partida para registrar en el sistema académico la nota promedio de todas estas actividades. Sin embargo, queda abierto módulos 2, módulos 3 y módulos 4 para que ustedes vayan adelantando. Vayan adelantando. Ya el próximo año, en enero, cuando retomamos clases, a ustedes se les enviará información al respecto a través de correo electrónico. Entonces, retomarán unidades 2, 3 y 4, pero teniendo en cuenta que ya en enero vamos a continuar es con la unidad 5, ¿sí? El próximo ciclo retomamos clases desde la unidad 5, ¿sí? Pero Moodle también se supone que debe iniciar desde la unidad 5. Sin embargo, ustedes les tienen el espacio en vacaciones como para que adelanten también módulos 2, 3 y 4. ¿Listo? Entonces, esos son los cambios que se han presentado hasta el momento. Obedecen precisamente pues a unos cambios, a unas dinámicas académico-administrativas y también pues teniéndolas ustedes presentes desde el Student Center de esa idea, conception, porque pues es bastante, ¿sí? Es bastante para tan poco tiempo. Sin embargo, pues ya a partir del año entrante, recordemos, la dinámica va a ser básicamente la misma, a menos que se susciten cambios en la marcha, que estaremos avisando oportunamente. ¿Ok? Sí,
Profe,
vamos a
es
la
que
pregunta que tenías. Daniela, dame un segundo, Joel, y ya te escucho, que Daniela tenía una...
Eh, Profe, para la unidad, lo que usted dice del Moodle, que es la primera parte, ¿tenemos tiempo también hasta el 13 o hasta el 12? O
Hasta
sea,
el
como,
13 a medianoche está disponible.
ok,
Creería que...
y,
Igual déjame revisar, ¿listo? Porque
ok,
se supone que está disponible hasta la última clase. O sea, medianoche no. Digamos que hasta las 10 de la noche cuando terminan las clases, ¿sí? Porque siempre se cierra el Moodle hasta el momento en el que finalicen las clases, la última clase del ciclo, que en este caso sería el 13 de diciembre a las 10 de la noche. ¿Qué otra pregunta
ok.
tenías?
Y en cuanto, o sea, el 13 de diciembre nosotros no tenemos clases, sino en la clase se hace la evaluación o tenemos una parte clase y una parte evaluación.
No, el martes tenemos la evaluación en los dos bloques de clase. En el primer bloque de clase se va a evaluar listening, reading, writing, que es la parte escrita, entre comillas, del examen. Y en el segundo bloque de clase se va a evaluar el speaking. El speaking se evalúa individualmente, que es spoken production, y grupalmente, que es spoken interaction. Entonces, van a estar trabajando en grupos pequeños, como spoken production, y uno a uno también pues va a ir realizando su speaking desde la parte individual, spoken production and spoken interaction. ¿Listo? Entonces esa es la
Ok, profe.
dinámica del martes. Y en
Y una
cuanto al
última
lunes,
pregunta. Ah,
dime,
ok. No, profe, si la termine.
el lunes esto, pues hay clase, pero es más como un trabajo de refuerzo, es una revisión también. Hoy creo que también de pronto se hace una revisión de lo que ustedes han avanzado hasta el momento del primer avance del proyecto, valga la redundancia, ¿sí? Sin embargo, pues la entrega de ese primer avance del proyecto, como lo acordamos, como se informó desde la clase número 1, número 2, el día 2 ustedes recibieron la información del proyecto, yo se las envié esto 11:59 de la noche, lunes 12 de diciembre, 11:59 de la noche, es el envío del primer avance del proyecto. ¿Ok?
Ok,
Bien.
profe, y el envío, según le escuché a la profesora, bueno, la otra profesora, que se me pasa ahorita el nombre,
Marilyn.
Marilyn, es a su correo, ¿cierto?
Eso está, espérame, abrimos el formato del proyecto. Al final está indicado que deben enviarlo a mi correo electrónico institucional. ¿Listo? Recuerden, como es un documento de Excel, es importante que, bueno, yo sugiero siempre descargar los documentos porque a veces la vista previa no permite ver todo desde internet. Y como es un documento de Excel, porfa, hay que hacer doble clic, ¿sí? Para que nos deje visualizar pues toda la información de cada una de las casillas. Entonces, por ahora, solamente primer avance de proyecto. ¿Listo? Lo que dice segundo avance no aplica para este ciclo aún y me lo deben enviar a mi correo electrónico. Y aquí están las fechas y las horas. Entonces, primer avance de proyecto, clase 9, diciembre 12 de 2022, a través de correo electrónico, fecha límite de envío 11:59 de la noche.
Listo, profe, no más preguntas, gracias.
Ok, sure thing, my pleasure. No te preocupes, esa es la idea, que todas las preguntas que ustedes tengan las puedan manifestar sincrónicamente aquí en las clases o también asincrónicamente a través de correo electrónico, idealmente, o si no, también a través del grupo de WhatsApp. Gilbert, ya te doy la palabra. Joely tenía una pregunta antes y luego
sí,
escuchamos a
profe.
Gilbert.
Profe, es que yo, o sea, yo fui capaz de entrar en la página donde suben las notas, pero en el Moodle no he sido capaz de entrar. No sé si tenga que ver con, o sea,
¿Ya te aparece el
no fui capaz
sistema
de entrar.
académico?
Señor,
¿Ya te aparece el sistema académico?
sí,
Ok,
allá ya aparezco.
vale, no, ok, listo. En cuanto al Moodle, aquí nuevamente en la presentación de bienvenida que les compartí, está el enlace para Moodle, ¿sí?
Sí, sí,
Entonces,
señor.
tú buscas ese documento, vas al enlace, ¿cierto? Ahí el hipervínculo te redirige, das clic en Instituto de Lenguas. Aquí, esta es la instrucción de acceso, ¿sí? Entonces, letra E minúscula, seguido de tu documento de identidad. Por ejemplo, E9308261016 0. ¿Sí? Del mismo modo, La contraseña es la misma. ¿Ok? Yo sugiero que
Ah,
digiten la información en ambos campos, no que la copien y la peguen, porque a veces no permite el acceso cuando la información es copiada y pegada. ¿Sí? Entonces ingresan letra E minúscula, seguido del documento de identidad, no el código de estudiante, sino el documento de identidad, código de estudiantes para el sistema académico, documento de identidad para Moodle, tanto para usuario como para contraseña, e ingresan. A ustedes, si no han tenido anteriormente contacto con el Instituto de Lenguas WIS, no les va a aparecer sino solamente esto, ¿sí? Nuestro grupo. Sin embargo, si de pronto antes ya han tenido clases en el instituto, les va a aparecer, digamos que el historial de todos los cursos que han tenido Moodle, en que ustedes han estado matriculados. Si no, solamente les aparece el curso que se llama Superintensivo B1.1, B1.3, Grupo 1, nombres de los profesores y de la coordinadora. Así les debe aparecer. ¿Vale? Entonces ese es el acceso a Moodle. Revisa,
vale,
porfa,
profe,
porque
gracias.
ya
No
todos
sé,
los
tenía la duda.
estudiantes están creados en el sistema desde hace ya tiempito. Ok. Ah, es importante que no vayan aquí a digitar puntos ni comas en el documento de identidad. ¿Listo? Los números seguiditos, letra de minúscula, números seguiditos. Es decir, esto no es correcto. 93.08. Punto 26.10.16.0. Esto no es correcto. ¿Listo? Tampoco con comas, porque no nos va a permitir el acceso a la plataforma. Entonces lo escribimos de corrido, sí, 93.08.26.10.16.0, tanto para usuario como para contraseña. Este pues es solamente un ejemplo, no hay ningún usuario creado con esto, es sencillamente mi tarjeta de identidad de hace como X cantidad de años, ¿vale? Entonces es solamente para ilustrar. ¿Ok?
Vale, profe, muchas gracias.
Yeah, sure thing, my pleasure. ¿Y alguien más tenía una pregunta? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Por qué se ríen? ¿Me están diciendo viejo o qué? Just kidding. ¿Alguien tenía una pregunta? ¿Alguien más?
Okay,
¿Era
teacher,
Gilbert? Sí, Gilbert.
yes, it was me, but it was the same question that my friend asked.
Yeah, shoot it. Oh, okay.
Okay.
So are you ready? We already answered your question?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
great, sure thing. My pleasure. So is there anybody else who happens to have a question, any doubts about the exam, about the project, about the modification to the percentages and the activities? Bryant? Bryant? I mean, I see you raising your hand. I don't know if you have a
Pues,
question.
es que no alcancé a captar cuando... Sí, profe, ¿me escucha?
Yes.
Ah, ok, sí, es que esto está lagueado mi internet un poco y yo hoy que estaba mostrando como unas fechas de un proyecto y no alcancé a capturarlo.
That information is then, okay. Esa información está en sus correos electrónicos desde el día 29 de noviembre, martes. Por favor,
Ok,
es importante revisar. ¿Listo? De todas formas, se los comparto otra vez a través del chat. También está en el grupo de WhatsApp. Igual, ya vuelvo y les comparto esta información. Ok. Aquí por el chat de Zoom. There you go. You can now download it. Good.
gracias.
Sure thing. My pleasure. John.
Profe, lo que yo le quería preguntar era esto, que usted quedó de mandarnos como la primera diapositiva de la clase 1 para los que entramos más tarde, y pues sí me gustaría como tenerla para tener como toda esa información clara.
Okay. I'm going to do it right now. Please check.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. My pleasure. Check the chat. Okay. Here in Zoom. So this is being listened. There you go. You can now download it. Okay. Any other questions, please? Don't worry, you can ask us. I mean, that's the idea, for you to ask as many questions as possible so that everything is 100% clear, considering that we are about to finish classes. So is there any other questions you might have about the modification to the percentages, deadlines, activities, classwork, class participation, access to Moodle, access to the academic system? Is everything clear for everybody?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, cool. So thank you so much for your confirmation. Great. Let's then continue. On Tuesdays, you were giving presentations about the natural feature. Unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to finish, and there were some people pending. Now, so I remember Andres was one of the people pending to give their presentation. So Andres, let's start with you. Okay, I'm going to give you the permit to share your screen because you're gonna need it. So Andres Alvarez,
Yeah.
Let's attend to your presentation.
Okay, thanks. Okay, you can see the PowerPoint.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the Maldives. So the region of Maldives is basically an independent island country in the north central Indian Ocean. The islands that make up the country extend more than 820 kilometers from north to south and 113 kilometers to east to west. Okay. The people of Maldives, basically the population of Maldives belongs almost entirely to the Maldivian ethnic group, which is the result of various people settling in the islands successfully through the country's history. And when we talk about its economy, so basically the economy of Maldives since the 1970s, the economy has developed rapidly. Basically, the basis of the economy is on tourism and tourists, fishing, boat building, boat repairing, with the tourist sector driving the rapid growth.
Tourism.
Okay, and his language, they speak English, is one of the native language. This is all, basically.
Okay, Andres, thank you very much for your participation. I was typing something in the chat. It is a beautiful island indeed. I mean, a conglomeration of tiny islands, the Maldives. That's the reason why their name is in plural, because there are many tiny islands. And yeah, they basically live on tourism, which is the main economic activity there. So thank you very much for having provided us with this interesting information. The pictures were beautiful. So thanks a lot. You did a great job there. Now let's continue with Diana. Diana was another person who was pending. And then we will listen to, I think, one or two groups were missing too. So let's continue with Diana and then we will listen to the other groups.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Mm, my presentation is about Aruba, one happy island. Aruba is physically located in the mid-south of the Caribbean Sea, about 29 kilometers of the north of the Venezuelan peninsula of Paraguay and 80 kilometers northwest of Curacao. The capital and the largest city in Aruba is Ortenstad, and the official languages are Papiamento and Dutch. Some general information about Aruba. Aruba has been part of the Kingdom of Netherlands since its inception in March of 1850. In fact, relations between Aruba and the Netherlands date back to 1634 when the Dutch settled on the island. Aruba has been closely linked with the Netherlands, Curacao, Saint Martin, and other Dutch Caribbean islands since 1634 when Dutch settled established in the Caribbean. And Aruba obtained its autonomous status as a country in 1986 and therefore controls and manages its own internal affairs. About politics and government, Aruba, it's a stable island with relative low crime rates. The political organization in place is a parliamentary democratic system reflecting the principles of equality and the rule of law. Its economy is largely depend on tourism, but its efforts to diversify the economy have been increasingly successful. About the culture in Aruba, it's a multicultural society. A variety of languages are spoken in Aruba, and most people are multilingual. The two official languages, like I said before, are Dutch and Papiamento. Papiamento it's an Afro-Portuguese Creole infused with Spanish, English, and Dutch. And most inhabitants also speak English and Spanish. Carnival, it's another aspect of culture. It's celebrated annually and involves a lot of color, singing, dancing, and parades. Carnival on Aruba is not just one day or 1 week or ever 1 month event. During January, February, and sometimes even to March, the entire island lives and breathes the carnival. For 2023, they're going to celebrate the 69th edition, and it's the whole month in January and whole month in February. Some of the most beautiful places to visit in Aruba are Palm Beach, Renaissance Island, Orchestan, Natural Pools, Arirok National Park, Casavari Rock, Arashi Beach, the Donkey Sanctuary, Baby Beach, the Palm Island, Oiberg, that is a volcanic mountain to explore in Aruba, Eagle Beak, Malmo Beak, and some others. And I have a video to show you. Mm.
¿Usted está buscando
Sorry,
cómo
about to-
emigrar legalmente a los Estados Unidos? Quédese atento.
Mm.
Number 18. Aruba. Aruba is known for its gorgeous weather, featuring sunny skies, cool breezes, and almost non-existent rain. One of the most popular Dutch Caribbean islands, Aruba boasts a unique contrast of gorgeous white sand beaches and desert terrain. Visitors can tan or snorkel one day and then go horseback riding or hiking the next day. They can also try out different water sports like kite surfing on Palm Beach or enjoy some solitude and quiet on less popular beaches like Baby Beach. Dutch colonial architecture can be found in the capital city of Oranjestad, situated on the southern coast. Number 17. Bahamas.
Okay, that's it. And I have a short and fast Kahoot for interact to you. I'm going to share the link via chat. It starts only if 10 of you join us. So it's really fast. Someone else? I don't know if I can start the Kahoot, but right.
Wait a
Okay.
moment, please.
Okay. Okay, thanks. I'm going to start the Kahoot right now. Okay, and the last one, it's thanks for your participation. You won't teach. Okay, thank you. That's it.
Okay, Diana, thank you very much for your amazing presentation. I totally agree with, I think it was Daniela. It was a very complete presentation, lots of information. You included a full description of the whole thing, you know, like languages, the number of inhabitants, culture, important tourist places for people to visit. And what is more, you kind of are like, you know, like trying to make us go to Aruba next year, considering that you actually found the calendar for the festivities next year, and that's the 69th edition. Well, it's not so far from Colombia, and I think it's not that expensive. So, dear people, maybe if you have the opportunity to travel to Aruba, I think it's a great destination. Yeah, I guess everybody wants to travel right now. I mean, because it's December, because we had this presentation about Aruba. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. It was very interesting indeed. You did a great job.
Okay, thanks.
Now, let's try with, there were some pending groups. There were some pending groups, but I do not remember. Okay, John, great. Let's attend to your group's presentation, John. Thank you.
Hello, teacher. My partner, Stephanie, is going to share the screen.
Okay, perfect. Oh, it's great.
Yes. Well, today we want to talk about Tomatina Festival in Buñol, Spain. Our group is Sylvia, Stephanie, and me. So my partner, Sylvia, is going to introduce this part.
Okay. uh, this festival starts always in the last Wednesday of August during the week of Buñol festivities and consists of participants throwing tomatoes at each other. About their history, it all started in 1945. A man was in the town square singing and playing music when a group of young people listened to him and began to throw tomatoes at him. It started like a joke, but later became an important event in the city of Valencia and in all Spain.
Since 2013, tickets has been required to participate in this festival due to the large number of tourists they received each year. The largest number of people who have attended have been 45,000 on the same day. This year, 15,000 people attended after 2 years because of the pandemic. The ticket cost 12 euros. We are going to talk about how or what is the process to, or how do they celebrate it. The first thing that they do is the sub stick, something like this. You can see on the picture. Before starting the pitched battle with tomato heat, it is necessary to pass a test. This is the sub stick, in which a soaped stick is placed with a ham on top. Around 10 in the morning, the participants must climb up to pull and reach the pig's foot. Until the ham is taken, the tomatina does not start.
Second is the batter. The choice of tomato, as for the war to begin, but it will not be until the casing sounds a bomb or firecracker at about 11 in the morning when the tomatina will begin. The truths loaded with tomatoes will then begin to appear. The tomatoes used are grown expressly for this festival in the Castellón town of Sitges in Valencia. And all the participants will do their best to have their hands on the tomatoes to throw them at friends, acquaintances, strangers, and whoever stands in front of them. It's very, very important that the tomatoes are crushed before being thrown so that no one gets hurt. With this rain of vegetables, a foreign base, the state of Buñol. Finally, is the retreat. After about an hour and after having emptied about 5 straw of tomatoes, it is time to end La Tomatina. The second cars will mark the end of the batter and everyone will have to stop throwing tomatoes. Participants then early search for a house, fountain, or any other place with water to wash off all the tomatoes covering their skin. And the municipal services help the residents to start the task of cleaning the city. In a matter of 2 hours, everything turns to normal and the countdown to the next tomatina begins. And here is a video. Wait.
Yes, in the meantime, I'd like to know that this is the first time that I heard about this festivity, and it was so great for me. And of course that I would like to go there. We were talking with my partners that it will be great. Stephanie, could you please share this
Okay,
sound?
yeah, you have to, in the settings, compartir pantalla, you have to make sure that you click on compartir sonido. This is on the left bottom corner. When you click on compartir pantalla, you have to stop sharing, okay? First, to stop sharing.
Okay.
And then click on compartir pantalla, and before you click on compartir pantalla, and then it says compartir sonido on the left bottom corner. Yeah, click on compartir sonido and then click on compartir, because if you don't click on compartir sonido, then it's not gonna work.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a Spanish
great.
war that's been going on for more than 65 years. But no one really cares about winning.
It's like a really, really amazing experience. Like, it's really unique.
The fight takes place once a year, and it only lasts about an hour. That's how long it takes to throw 150,000 tomatoes.
Yeah, it's my first time. We're both from England, so it's our first time here. Yeah, it was amazing. It's crazy, crazy, crazy.
Like all good military operations, the folks here have a few rules of engagement. First, only tomatoes can be thrown. Second, all tomatoes have to be squashed before hurling them at someone's head. And third, no one is allowed to tear off anyone's clothes.
It's really cool, like lots of tomatoes, lots of fighting.
Decades ago, people were actually thrown into jail for participating in the tomato fight. But then the small village of Buñol discovered that this flying ketchup bonanza is good for business. People come here from all over the world and pay money to bathe in the juices. Scott Rensberger, The Associated Press.
That's it, teacher. That was our presentation. Thank you so much for paying us attention.
Okay, John. So it was John, Stephanie, and who else was part of the presentation? Sorry, they didn't get to see your name. Silvia Duran. Okay, perfect. Great. You did an excellent job, guys. Thanks a lot. I mean, I have heard about La Tomatina before, but I didn't know that it was so popular among all people from different cultures. I was paying attention to the video. There were English people, there were people from New Zealand, and of course, I noticed different accents. So it's not just people from Buñol there in Spain, but also it's like a worldwide culture, and it's cool. Imagine the adrenaline, you know? It's only 1 hour, but because they have different activities before La Tomatina itself takes place, there is like adrenaline is, you know, like cooking. It's like escalating little by little. And then when they sound the firecrackers or the other mechanisms that they have there, it has to be an hour full of adrenaline indeed. So I think it's a good idea maybe to learn the word for tomate in different languages, like pomodoro in Italian, tomate in Spanish, tomato in English. I don't know if you pay attention to the video, but the guy from New Zealand said tomato. So it's also possible to say tomato, tomato. Okay. About the cleaning, yeah, we can be skeptical about the cleaning because, I mean, that's 150,000 tomatoes or pomodoros or tomatoes. That's a lot. So the cleaning has to be something crazy. Ketchup. Okay. So it seems to me that this is attractive to all people in the world, not just to Spanish people. And I myself would like to have just chance to go on partake, at least as a bystander or as a witness in the competition. It will be really, really great. So I want to thank you so much to the three of you, Sylvia, Stephanie, and John. It was a very complete presentation, and I had lots of fun while I was paying attention to it. Thank you very much. Now, who else is missing? Who else is missing?
Teacher, I don't know if I'm missing because the last class I work with my group, but I couldn't speak because I was arriving home. But I made a short presentation about. Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, can you see my screen?
It's about Peru and Machu Picchu, right?
That's right. Okay, I'm going to talk about Peru. Peru, as we know, is a South American country and is the largest country in America after Brazil and Argentina. And its population is estimated at 34,088,302, and its capital is Lima. And as we know, like most South American countries, in Peru speaks Spanish. Okay, but maybe are you wondering what type of activities you can do if you are in Peru? If you go to Peru, you can find out places like Cusco, the Andes, or Wakashima. Maybe if you decide to go to Cusco, you know that Cusco is the size of the story of this country because it's the site of the Inca Empire. This place was declared a World Heritage Site in 1843, sorry, by UNESCO. Also, you can find hiking in the Andes. The Andes is the world's longest continental mountain range. The range is about 4,034 million loans. And finally, we can visit Wakashima. This is like a oasis. This is surrounded by a giant sand dunes. That this is a beautiful place. And finally, we can see a little bit about tradition. As we know, in Peru, there are about 3,000 popular festivals a year, and these are related to indigenous roots. Also, they are celebrated and they have been transmitted from generation in generation. And the traditional music of Peru is a product of a fusion over many centuries and reflects the story of the country. And finally, the Peruvian food is diverse and very tasty, and has been considered as the best culinary destination. Peru is worldwide known for its ceviche. And thank you for your attention. And I have a video for you.
What do you think of when you stand out in the middle of a spiritually intimate paradise? What do you feel when the depths of nature tug on your heart and soul and invite you into her peculiar and magical beauty? Peru's ancient roots of nature were beyond breathtaking. The circle of energy present, the dynamic colors, the mystical sounds, and the illuminating and alluring wonderland of terrains enlightened and resonated with me as we explored along our journey. Peru unmasked moments of mystery, reality, delicacy, and fascination. I breathed in color, tasted love, touched symmetry and culture, and nostalgic authenticity. Culture as an entirety assembled a unit that had multiple branches, shades, and mosaics of diversity.
Hey, teacher, I'm going to stop the video because I think that maybe it's too long and we have to continue. But if you want to end the video, I can share the link with you.
Well, this is a democratic country. I don't know what the people think about it. Would you like to continue watching the video or shall we continue with the class? I leave it to you.
Continue.
Okay.
Continue.
So the people
Okay.
have spoken. Power is the people. Continue with the video, I guess. ¿Ya? Sierra, siga con el video.
With the video, I
don't
heard
know.
continue with the class.
No.
Okay, I'm going to. Sorry for
I don't
that.
know. Wait. What do you guys want? Continue with the class or continue with the video?
With the
Finish
video.
the video.
You see, with the video, it's only
It's
4
2
minutes.
Oh,
minutes
okay.
It's not
left.
long. It's okay.
Can you hear it or?
Yes.
Yes.
Some
Okay.
moments where I was
Maybe could you possibly
hypnotized
try
and
with
encased.
subtitles? Could you possibly try with
Okay.
captions if they're on? Make sure that they are in
That's
English. Go to the settings wheel. English, please. No, they are not available.
No.
So don't worry.
Yours-
Just turn it off. No captions.
Okay.
With the energy around us. In all its mystery and beauty, Peru opened not only my eyes, but also my heart. We had moments of achievement, challenge, glory, connection, moments of emotion and unity. So wherever you are, and whatever you're thinking right now, know this, that the world is full of surprises, beauty, and a colorful spread of love. You just have to get out there and explore. Your adventure is waiting.
Hey guys, that's all. Thank you for watching.
Okay, no, Harold, thank you very much for your presentation. It was an excellent compliment to the presentation your classmates gave on Friday. Plus, you provided other aspects that are also very important there in the Peruvian culture, especially about the cuisine, you know, and yes. Now, because of its geographical positioning, Peru is like one of the most important, if not the most important, representatives of, you know, seafood. And it's not just about the seafood. It's also about, I know about what pisco is said to be from Peru, but there is some controversy because people say that it is also from Chile. So there are some arguments ongoing and for some ages too. And it's not only about the food that the ocean provides them with, but also a lot of other ingredients. I want to share something with you. I don't know if you, well, okay, how can I put it? I am a cook lover, okay? I am a cuisine lover. As a matter of fact, I studied a gastronomy semester some years ago. One of my plans for the future is to continue my cooking studies, maybe finish here in Colombia and go to Argentina and do some specialization in something. But I gotta know about cuisine. So something particular about Peruvian culture, it's that it is very regional. Same thing happens here with Colombia and with the Andes, generally speaking, also in Argentina, Chile, and other parts of South America where the Andes are. We have some important and special ingredients. The tomato, for example, was exported to Europe, was taken to Europe, not exported, but was taken to Europe after some conquering processes. And that's why pizza came to be, for example, because tomatoes were not grown in Italy at that time. Before the pizza ever existed, there was something called focaccia, which was a type of flatbread with some herbs on it and some olive oil and garlic, and that's it. But pizza didn't come to exist only because of these conquering processes. But that's a different topic. I wanted to focus on Peruvian culture. And there is this, I don't know if you, for example, pay attention to the nomination of the 50 best Latin American restaurants. Number one, if I'm not mistaken, was awarded to Central, whose owners are Virgilio and Pia. Virgilio and Pia. I think Pia is her name, but let's go for Central restaurant in Peru. Yeah, this is the restaurant, and let's see, top 50 best Latin American restaurants. So this is something that is released every year about restaurants, about bars, about pubs. And look, Central is number one, which is in Peru. Now the owners are Virgilio, and there is also Pia, which was awarded the best pastry chef or best revelation chef, woman chef, if I'm not mistaken. So the best restaurant in Latin America 2022, sponsored by Saint Pellegrino. Pellegrino is the name of the guy who invented champagne, but initially it was like a sparkling drink, a sparkling beverage, and then it evolved little by little into what we nowadays know as champagne, if I'm not mistaken. That is the reason why, look, Chef Virgilio Martinez and Pia Leon. And there is a beautiful series on Netflix. Watching television and watching series is a very good source of input, and it's something you can do in order to learn about languages. Because, well, a language is just a means. We use the language to communicate about everything. That's why in these classes we have been talking about everything. Today, when we finish with the presentations, we're going to be talking about a special sport, and there are some questions about it. So I'm just gonna leave this link here for you in case you want to check it. And the series on Netflix is called Chef's Table. It's a beautiful series because it's about languages, it's about art, it's about music, it's about cuisine, it's about journeys all around the world. It's about sustainability. It's about tourism, sustainable tourism. It's about, it's a beautiful series indeed. So something particular about Peru is, of course, the cuisine, but they not only focus on seafood. Of course, that's like one of the main dishes there. But if you pay attention, for example, to the menu, I think that you can find the menu or something on the website. Let me see if I can find casi les hago un spoiler de la clase de hoy. Some information about Central, Virgilio and Pia. Central, Peru, Chef's Table. And also Pisco, but there is an ongoing discussion about look, this is the series. I'm telling you.
Miren lo que tengo atrás. Toda una colección.
Oh, that's the Spanish. Don't like it. Like, for example, this is taken from the first episode. Maybe we can watch.
Soy Virgilio Martínez del restaurante Central, en Lima, Perú.
He is a native speaker of Spanish. Yeah, that is the reason why, well, he's speaking in Spanish, but he also uses English. But look, let's maybe just, we can go through.
Soy Virgilio Martínez del restaurante Central.
Yeah, like a time lapse. Look at the creations. Those, for example, look. Jesus. Loads of seafood, that's seafood, okay? That's seafood. And these are like potatoes or some type of potato-related food, which name I don't remember in this moment. But apart from that, they also have corns. Corns are not only yellow, but they are also black, they are also red, they are purple, they are pink, and they are mixed. So what he does there, and I think it's one of the reasons of his success, is that he is also an investigator about the natural, the endemic ingredients from the region. This is Pia Leon, okay? Which was also awarded like the best woman chef. Let's find it there, maybe Pia Leon nominated 50 best Latin America's restaurant. She was awarded a nomination. Apart from the fact that they were nominated first restaurant in Latin America, I'm sure that she also was awarded a nomination, like a chef, revelation chef or something like that. To be honest, I don't remember in this moment. But just wanted to show you the ingredients and the passion they have for cooking and everything you can learn through, for example, these theories about sustainability. Look here, for example, they are working on some homemade dressings, like to put along with salads and with all of the food that they serve there. This is, for example, I don't remember the word in Spanish, in English for herbario, but they also conduct research. And so they have a collection of all of the natural herbs that grow in the area. And look at the corns, for example, you see? You wouldn't believe that this is a corn, but this is a corn. Yeah, it comes like in the reddish color with maybe whitish and yellowish, and this one is like maybe light brown. It actually resembles like cocoa, not cocoa, but coffee beans or something when they are being toasted. A very mild one. You see, that's a corn there. So it's great, you know, and we have it here in Latin America. We also have some important restaurants here in Colombia. If you go back to the 50 Bests, we have a lot of them in Bogota. There is like Leo Restaurant. I don't know if you heard of it. We have we have a Michelin restaurant here, which is by the chef Juan Manuel Barrientos, which is the owner of El Cielo Restaurants and El Cielo Foundation of El Cielo Hotel. He has a restaurant here in Bogota, and there is another restaurant in Medellin. He has one in Miami, if I'm not mistaken, and he has one in Washington. He is the only Colombian chef, to the best of my knowledge, that has been awarded a Michelin star, which is like the greatest nomination that a restaurant, a chef, a cuisine, a plate, etc. can be awarded. Also, of course, there is Le Grand Prix de l'Art de la Cuisine, which is en français, which was regarded to Francis Malman, which is an Argentinian chef, which is also part of this series chef stable. Pero ya me voy a callar y vamos a volver con la clase. So thank you very much, Harold, for your presentation. It was great. Lo siento, no puedo ocultar mi pasión por la cocina y por los idiomas. So let's go back to the class, okay? Is there another group who is missing? Is there another group who is missing that we haven't paid attention to? Okay, Angelica, but have you already given the presentation? I think you gave your presentation on Tuesday, no? Okay, let me know as a private message in case you have not participated. Good. Let's continue with the class. So in today's lesson, we're going to be working on some extra activities, and that activity deals with a sport, okay? A very well-renowned sport, and something recently happened. No. Something very important happened recently about this sport. One of the best players in this sport retired. He is no longer playing. Any ideas so as to what sport we're going to be talking about today? So I'm going to give you some clues. The best player in this sport recently retired. He is, which means he's no longer playing, okay? Now, we have some important Colombian people who also play or have played this sport. One of her names is, I think it's Camila, and there is also Alejandro. Okay, you got it.
Tennis?
Yes, we're gonna be talking about tennis today. So let's see how much you know about tennis. I'm gonna ask you some questions first. You will have some time to maybe find some information online, and then we will continue with some extra videos, some extra activities, you know, and of course the ones that we have on the book. Yeah, Camila Osorio is one of the best Colombian female players, tennis players right now. And we also had Alejandro Falla like some years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So here is the question. So question number one, what are the
Teacher, you are compared in a screen about Central?
Yes,
or you changed?
I haven't changed, don't worry. I am still
okay, sorry.
Because I don't want to show you the other information yet. So for now, we're going to answer these questions. What are the most important tennis tournaments in the world? Number 2, any ideas about tennis origins? And number 3, would you like to play tennis? Why? One more, maybe we can add it. What special equipment do you need in order to play tennis? Okay, now thank you, that's the idea. I want this to be like brainstorming, okay? So this is gonna be a brainstorming activity. So the idea is that you write the answers in the chat, or maybe you can also use the microphone. I will give you 5 minutes to maybe find some information online about these tennis-related questions. There is one more that we can include to the list. Mention important tennis players in the world. Good. So 5 minutes for you to find some information online, and then we're going to do it as a brainstorming activity, the whole class. We're going to be participating all together. Okay, let's find out about your ideas, the information you found. Let's start by reading the information that was typed in the chat. So we have, Camilo Osorio is one of the most important tennis players in Colombia, and I think also in the world. Yes, Judy, Wimbledon is one of the most important, actually, it is the most important tennis tournament all around the world. And there is something particular about it. So I think it has to do with the color of the clothes that they wear in the context. I think it's white. It has to be white for some reason. Let's see. The most important tournaments in the world are Wimbledon, the US Open, the Australian Open, the French Open. Thank you once again. Julie Silvia says, best male tennis players: Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Rod Laver or Laver. I'm not sure about the last name because I don't know the country of origin. So the pronunciation depends on that. Diana says the 4 Grand Slam tournaments are the Australian Open in January, the French Open, the Roland Garros. Okay, Roland Garros as we know it, from late May to early June, Wimbledon in late June to early July, and the US Open in August, September. There are also others like the Davis Cup and the Miami Open. Great, Diana, thank you. Anderson says, according to the encyclopedia, okay, the British Britannica. Perfect, Anderson, thank you very much. That's a very good source of information. The origins of the game can be traced to the 12th, 13th century. French handball game called Jeu de Paume, game of the palm, from which was derived the complex indoor racket and ball game real tennis. Thank you. Silvia says, best female tennis players: Serena Williams, Steffi Graf, Martina Navratilova. I think she has got to be Russian or maybe Hungarian or something like that. To be honest, I don't know. Maida, okay, Maida says, the only equipment you need to play tennis match is a tennis racket, tennis shoes, a tennis ball, and a tennis court with a regulation net. Perfect, thank you. Stephanie says, best female tennis players, Serena and Venus Williams. Excellent. Okay, anybody else that maybe found some information online based on the initial questions? Okay, so Luisa says, the US Open, Australia Open, Roland Garros in France, Wimbledon in England, the so-called Grand Slam. I know that tennis originated a long time ago in Europe, more or less in Greece or Rome. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Luisa says that she would like to play soccer. Actually, she has always wanted to learn to play tennis, not soccer, sorry, tennis. She likes it very much. It's very interesting. Yes. When I became a little bit older, cuando ya sea más viejito, I would like to practice tennis. It seems a very demanding sport, you know, that requires a lot of physically fit and concentration and strength. And it's actually cool. What special equipment do you need? Special shoes for playing tennis, and the most important, the racket. Serena and Venus Williams. Great. Daniela says, Wimbledon is the oldest tennis tournament. It plays about June or July of each year in the United Kingdom. Origins date back to England. Okay, would you like to play tennis? Sometimes I play tennis, but nothing professional, only for fun. It's like on a recreational basis. That's cool. Okay, special equipment, racket, and a little ball. Important players in the world. The Federer sister, Roger Federer, yes. Roger Federer, Rafael, yeah, Roger Federer. Sister, the Williams sisters. Thank you. Stephanie, the beginning of tennis, it was an exclusive discipline for people belonging to the elite or upper classes of society, but over time it spread throughout the world, which allowed its democratization, that is, that all people could play it. That's the reason why, for example, it is somehow related to England, you know, the monarchy and everything there, regardless of their stratum or economic level. Everybody can learn with the WIS team, even if you're not a student. Okay, that's cool. I think that it is yeah, it's a service that is open to the public in general. Okay, that was interesting. It was a very enlightening and educational brainstorming activity. I want to thank you so much for having participated. Now, let's find out some information. Of course, there might be different versions, okay? There might be different versions. So let's watch this short video about part of the origins of tennis, you know. And if you want to find out more, it comes in different shorts episodes, okay? But we're just gonna watch the first one, which deals with the origin. That's just point of view, you know. And then we're gonna watch a second video based on the top 10 tennis players of all time. The first one in the picture is the one that we're going to be talking about today, mainly based on the activity from the book. So let's watch this video first about its origins, its potential origins, and then we will continue with the second one.
Of Roger Federer. Tennis, the game we all know and love. We all know the likes of Roger Federer, Serena Williams and Novak Djokovic, who battle it out at the Grand Slams every year. But where did our amazing sport start, and how has it developed into the sport that has become today? Well, that's what I'm going to be sharing with you in these episodes. These episodes will be showing you the long, amazing history of the amazing sport that is tennis, and how some guys hitting balls with their hands in 12th century France became legends battling it out in front of thousands on the centre court of Wimbledon. Just stated before, the origin of tennis has been traced all the way back to 12th century France. Yes, the 1100s. This was before rackets were involved, as it was only played with the hands, and it was called jeu de paume, which is French for palm game or game of the palm. It was played by kings, nobles and commoners alike in France throughout this period. The first known man to play this game was Louis X of France, who constructed indoor courts in the late 13th century. There were many other kings of France who also enjoyed this game. As to the differences with today's game is that the court was enclosed, they did not have rackets, the net was a lot higher and it was played inside. Sometime after this, the game was spread into England and possibly the other parts of Europe as well, where the rules were different every single place you went, as there was no fixed set of rules at this time. Where the actual name tennis came from was from the French word tenez, meaning to receive. What happened was the server yelled out tenez, meaning receive, to their opponents to warn them that they were about to serve. This was around the 16th century where the name tennis in England caught on, and it was referred to as either real tennis or royal tennis. Although the game was still played indoors at this point of time, and the ball was hit against a wall in a similar fashion to squash, hands had developed into gloves, which had developed into paddles, which had eventually developed into rackets stringed with gut. Around this time, some big fans of the game were Henry V and Henry VII of England, and Francois I and Henry II of France. Later in 1555, the first ever known book on tennis was written, called Trattato del Gioco della Palla. Then in 1571, King Charles IX created the Corporation of Tennis Professionals. This time was the height of real tennis or royal tennis, the origins of the game we all know and love today. This game also did play a role in the French Revolution through the tennis court oath, but it slowly declined in popularity over the next couple of centuries while other racket games such as squash or racket increased in their popularity. But tennis was to make a return midway through the 19th century in the new form of lawn tennis, when new inventions such as rubber and the lawnmower were to allow two intelligent men to invent such a game almost identical to the one that is played today. But that is the subject for the next episode. Thanks for watching me, JB Tennis's The History of Tennis. Episode 1, The Origin. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more...
Okay, now let's go for the second one. It's okay, don't worry. We will pay attention to the second video, which is just, a perspective about the top 10 tennis players of all times. Now, have you got any ideas about who the person in the picture, and the video is?
No.
No? Okay, let's find out. That's a
No
whole
idea.
No idea. Okay, cool.
You said, but I don't remember.
I didn't say his name. I said that this is the guy we're going to be working on, but yeah, I didn't say it. That's the idea, to find out, okay? Cool.
I just got a
comment on something. You're not very intimidating.
I know.
No. No!
He enjoyed it. Comes back, lines this up, and almost looked like he knew exactly where he was hitting it. Break point. Visiblement, Ivan Lendl a joué l'homme. Oh, c'est magnifique! C'est magnifique ce qu'ils ont...
Sicuro, però dovevamo fare tu fuori, io dentro.
Certo, mi sono sacrificato io stavolta.
Al massacro.
Buono.
La stoppolla è vincente.
Okay, there you go. I hope you liked it. Yeah, Andre Agassi. I remember his name from when I was young too. And of course, Pete Sampras, you know. Of course, we have others. And well, I didn't find a video that included also phenomenal players, but these are like the top 10 best tennis players of all times. So Andre Agassi is the one we are going to be talking about today mainly because, well, it's the one that the book proposes. So let us go to the book. And on Tuesday, you started talking about ambitions. If I'm not mistaken, let me check my lesson plans for a second. And so the continuation of that activity deals with ambitions. And for example, what Andre Agassi had to do in order to become one of the best tennis players in the history of tennis, of course, in the modern times. So on pages 38 and 39, we will find some information about him. So I'd like you, if you would be so kind, to go to page 38. And there on page 38, we have some information about him. So it says, exercise number 4. Read the extract from Agassi's autobiography and answer the questions. What is Andre doing in this extract? How does the young Andre feel about tennis? How does he feel about his father? What is the dragon in quotation marks? Number 5, read the text again and mark the statements below true, false, or and as not sure. Okay, underline the part of the text that gives you the answer. So that's the idea, okay, for us to work in exercises 4 and 5 from these reading exercise from the book. I will read it for you. I'd like you to please follow the reading this time, and then you'll have some time to answer questions 4 and 5. So Andre Agassi. Andre Agassi is generally considered one of the greatest tennis players of all time and the greatest returner of the ball in the history of tennis. Agassi was introduced to tennis by his father, Mike, who had been a tennis groundsman during his youth. Mike Agassi trained all 4 of his children intensively to become tennis professionals, but only Andre, the youngest, showed great talent. Andre went on to win numerous championships and became one of the biggest stars in the history of the game. However, he also suffered from drug and other personal problems. Andre Agassi is now married to one of the greatest women players ever, Steffi Graf, whose father also trained her hard as a child. Since he retired from tennis, Agassi has dedicated himself to helping poor and abused young people, giving them the chance to have a good education. Agassi and Graf have not taught their children how to play tennis. So questions 4 and 5, okay? I'll give you some minutes for you to answer these 2 questions, and then we will be checking together. Now, I will make some groups in case you want to work in groups. If you want to work individually, simply do not join your group, all right? That it's okay, don't worry. For this activity, you can decide whether you want to work in groups or not. I'm gonna be making some small groups. Okay, 6 rooms in total. So if you want, you can join your group, work in pairs or in groups. If not, you can stay here in the main room and work individually. I'll give you some minutes and then we will check. So as part of this activity, you were also expected to read the autobiography. I don't know if you had the chance to read it, but I'm going to read it very quickly. I'm 7 years old. I'm talking to myself because I'm scared and because I'm the only person who listens to me. Under my breath, I whisper, just quit, Andre. Just give up. Put down your racket and walk off to school right now. Go into the house and get something good to eat. Wouldn't that feel like heaven, Andre? Just quit. To never play tennis again. But I can't. Not only would my father chase me around the house with my racket, but something deep inside won't let me. I hate tennis. I hate it with all my heart, but I still keep playing, keep hitting all morning and all afternoon because I have no choice. At the moment, my hatred for tennis is focused on the Dragon, a ball machine modified by my father. The Dragon looks, at first glance, like the ball machine in every tennis club in America, but to me, it's actually a living, breathing creature straight out of my comic books. The Dragon has a brain, a weak and black heart, and a horrifying voice. As the ball rises slowly to its mouth, the Dragon gives a terrifying roar, then fires a ball at me at 170 kilometers an hour. I flinch every time. My father has deliberately made the Dragon fearsome. At 7 years old, I'm small for my age. My father wants the balls that shoot from the Dragon's mouth to land at my feet as I dropped from an airplane. The way the balls bounce makes them impossible to return in the normal way. Hit earlier, my father yells, damn it, Andre, hit earlier. But even that's not enough for my father. Hit earlier, he yells, hit earlier. My father yells everything twice, sometimes 3 times, sometimes 10. Harder, he shouts, harder, but what's the use? No matter how hard I hit a ball, no matter how early, the ball comes back. Every ball I send across the net joins the net thousands that already covered the court. My father says if I hit 2,000 or 2,500 balls each day, I'll hit 105,000 each week, and at the end of 1 year, I'll hit nearly 1 million balls. He believes in math, numbers, he says, don't lie. A child who hits 1 million balls each year will be unbeatable. He's yelling directly in my ear. It's not enough to hit everything the Dragon fires at me. My father wants me to hit it harder and faster than the Dragon. He wants me to beat the Dragon. The thought makes me panicky. I tell myself, you can't beat the Dragon. How can you beat something that never stops? The Dragon is a lot like my father, except my father is worse. At least the Dragon stands in front of me where I can see it. My father stays behind me. I rarely see him. Only I hear him day and night yelling in my ear. Good. So here, what is Andre doing in this extract? What is his intention? What is he trying to do? Well, these were more like inferential questions, you know, 1, 2, 3. Those were inferential questions. Number 4 was a textual one. So in number 1, what is Andre doing in his extract? What do you think is his intention?
Explain how he got into tennis.
Okay.
A little biography from
okay. A short autobiography that he wrote it himself. Sorry. Right, Daniela. So he's trying to explain how he got into tennis. Great. Thank you very much. Any other opinion? There might be more than one correct answer in this case. Any other opinions as to what is Andre trying to do in this extract?
He's trying to express his feelings.
Okay, he's trying to express his feelings about
the sport.
Okay, about tennis.
When he was a child.
Okay, great.
Even now.
Okay, and even now. Great, perfect, Diana. Thank you very much. Any other ideas about what he's trying to do in the test?
Yes, Andre is talking to his feelings and thoughts about tennis when he was a child.
Okay, great. This is pretty much the intention that he's trying to, that's his intention. That's what he's trying to do. Great, thank you too. How does the young Andre feel about tennis?
It was scared about tennis because the machine, the Dragon, it was very terrified for him. And ¿cómo serían los the treatment of his father? It was very horrible too. So even he says that he hates the tennis.
Okay, perfect, Anderson. Thank you very much. You summarize, sorry, all of the emotions. Yeah, he felt horrified. He felt scared. He felt mistreated by his father somehow. Yeah, so it must have been a nightmare. Thank you very much. Question number 3. How does he feel about his father? What do you think?
I said, I think that when he told he want to stop tennis, but he can, my conclusion is he felt admiration and anger with his father.
Okay, like mixed emotions.
Exactly.
Stephanie says daddy issues. Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Daniela. Of course, he felt hatred. He actually used the word textually, hatred, and he described his father as even worse than the dragon, who he described as a monster. Yeah, like taken from his comic books. So, but yeah, I think that in the end, he also feels admiration towards his father, but mainly it was like he felt scared. Maybe he hated his father. Maybe he didn't love him. Maybe he felt horrified and so on. Great. Question number 4. What's a dragon?
A ball
machine
machine modified.
Okay, a tennis machine ball that has been modified. That's the dragon.
Yes, and through balls to 170 kilometers.
170 kilometers. That's correct, per hour. That's really, really fast for an 8-year-old guy. So imagine. Okay, great. Number 5, read the text again and mark the statements below true, false, or not sure. We are simply going to decide whether these are true, false, or not sure. Okay, number 1. So Andre feels that no one cares about his opinion. True, false, or not sure? True. Okay, thank you. Number 2, he hates his father.
No, sure.
Not sure. Not sure. Okay. Something important about these activities is that we cannot get sentimental. We have to remain objective. Okay. Algo muy importante de las lecturas de este tipo es que, bien que genera ciertas emociones porque el hombre es social por naturaleza y se conmueve con el dolor ajeno por naturaleza y es altruista por naturaleza, and so on and so forth. No podemos caer en la subjetividad. Y por más que nos sintamos identificados de pronto o no con Andre, que es el personaje principal aquí, tenemos que permanecer objetivos. ¿Dice textualmente que lo odia? No. ¿Podemos inferir eso? No. He uses the word hatred and other words that are related to negative emotions, but we're not sure about it. He hates his father? Not sure. Okay, not sure. There is no enough evidence in the text so as to say that this is true or false. So we have to remain not sure. 3, his father wants him to be frightened of the dragon.
Don't say.
It doesn't say, or not sure. Okay. I mean, maybe we can infer this being subjective, but no, there is no enough information in the text. So not sure or doesn't say. 4, he feels worried.
Sorry, first question is true?
Yes. I think it's at the beginning of the test. I'm talking to myself because I am scared and because I'm the only person who listens to me. Under my breath, I whisper to squid, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it says, Andrew feels that no one cares about his opinion. Not with textual words, of course, but with paraphrasing. I'm the only person, I'm scared because I'm the only person who listens to me. He says it not in the exact words, but paraphrasing, in other words. So paraphrasing is also something important when it comes to reading comprehension at this level, B1.1. Great. Well, we are actually in. This is B1.1. Okay. He feels worried because he can't do what his father wants.
True.
That's true. And number 5, he's more frightened of the dragon than of his father.
False.
That's false. It's actually the other way around. He is more frightened of his father than of the dragon. Okay, well, there you go. Thank you so much for your attention. Remember, on Monday, it's the deadline for you to send it for turning in the first project advances. We will have a special review on Monday for the final exam, and then on Tuesday, we will have our final exam. For now, just worry about module 1 in Moodle. Okay, great. So I want to thank you so much for your attention and for your participation, everybody. I'm sorry that it took us more time. I'll see you on Monday. Okay, have a great weekend and enjoy the rest of the class with Professor Marilyn. We will see each other on Monday. Have a great weekend. Okay, bye-bye. Take care.
Thank
you so
you.
much for your
Bye.
attention.
Thank you, the same.
Bye.
Bye.